Welcome. Second installment, CFC, Coffee for Closers.
It is.
Episode 2.
Dulce.
And how you doing, Micah?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
Great. Thank you for doing this process with me. I enjoyed our first video.
It was fun.
And obviously very preliminary, not very deep. We'll get there. We'll get deep. But a lot of stuff to talk about and discuss. Last week we talked about edge overall. And today my thought was we would start dissecting edge. And we'll start with the first E. First E is?
Engage.
Engage.
Got it right.
Got it. You nailed it. All right, so that'll be our discussion point. But before we get there, after all, this is Coffee for Closers.
It is.
What are we drinking?
We are drinking Owl's Howl from Sightglass down in Missoula.
Owl's Howl.
Owl?
Howl?
Or
No,
Owl's
who.
Howl.
Who? Wolf's Howl. Owl's Hoot.
No, Owl's Howl. It's like...
Owl's Howl is the name of it. All right.
Yeah, see, Owl's Howl. It's H-O-W-L.
Got it.
Owl's Howl. Owl's Howl.
Sightglass.
Sightglass.
Dark roast.
Dark roast.
Oh, it's an espresso.
Darkest, yeah, it's actually it's meant for espresso. I put it through my Chemex because that makes it taste
Right? One of these days we're going to show what the heck a Chemex is.
One of these days.
One of these
Until
days.
then, we'll leave them wondering.
It's like Irish whiskey. It's triple distilled. That's what makes it Irish whiskey, and being from Ireland. This is triple pour over, which is fascinating.
Well, it just has 3 pours in the pour over. It's only 1 pour over.
But you do it 3 times.
Well, there's 3 pours of water for the 1 pour over.
Yeah, 3 pour overs.
3 pour.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Good. So this is a dark roast.
Dark roast.
Chemex brewed.
Rich and I were discussing it. We have a little bit of disagreement on the body.
Well, we're trying to figure it out.
Well, I mean,
we're working it out together.
Yeah, together we're discussing it out. I feel like the body's a little bit heavier than most coffees. Rich feels like the body's
a little lighter.
A little bit lighter.
A little lighter. That's my sense.
A little bit lighter.
And I definitely get ripe berry out of this.
I do get the berry.
Do you?
I do get the berry. Yeah. The berry, there's an undertone of cherry that's not as powerful as the berry, but I think the dominating flavor right now is of course, the lemon.
Yeah, it's definitely citrusy, no doubt about that. But it's wonderful. It's delightful. Dark roast, that's my roast.
Dark roast.
Yep.
Dark roast Arabica beans.
Arabica beans.
Arabica beans. Now, people know maybe what Arabica and Robusta are, but basically what you got is you got 2 major families of coffee beans. You have Arabica and Robusta beans. Interesting, isn't it? Now
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. People see pros and cons to both. Okay. Robusta, it can be mass-produced.
Got it. Now, most places are Arabica beans, right?
Most places that care. So I'll describe the coffee, and you'll probably know where the Robusta comes from, the Arabica comes from.
Okay. Good.
So Robusta.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's easier to mass produce because the trees are a little bit taller.
Got
so
it.
Robusta tree will
more berries.
More coffee berries, more coffee beans per square foot, if you will.
Got it.
So each tree is going between 4.5 and 6 meters tall.
Got it.
And the Arabica is going to be 2.5 to 4.5 meters tall. So you lose half your tree if you're doing Arabica beans. Now, Arabica beans, they have about twice the amount of lipids and sugars as Robustas do. So Arabica is where you're going to find all your craft coffee, all your third wave coffee is always
Got it. Always Arabica.
Always Arabica.
Got it.
Yeah, no, anyone who cares about coffee doesn't drink Robusta.
Got it.
Robusta, the pro to Robusta is that it has almost twice the amount of caffeine.
Ha!
Yeah. So that sounds like a good thing, but if you guys know, caffeine is actually really bitter, so that means Robusta is usually bitter. Most people who drink Robusta, they describe it as tires or rubber.
Delicious.
Or rubber. Yeah.
Delicious.
So if you have Arabica beans, usually it's 1.7% caffeine. Robusta is about 2.5% caffeine.
Yeah, it's more.
It's a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
So this is Arabica.
There you go.
So
this is Arabica.
Can we agree moving forward that Coffee for Closers will not have that rubbish Robusta?
We will never have Robusta.
We're classy.
The only exception we'll ever have is occasionally Italian coffees will have Robusta included. What's that?
The Italian coffees.
Italian
they use
coffee.
Robusta?
Well, they'll use Robusta with a blend of Arabica in their espresso. Because you can get a higher crema, which I'll describe one of these days. But you can get more crema in your espresso. There's a little bit of Robusta.
Okay, just a little.
A little bit.
Okay.
And about half and half piece.
All right, good. We'll try it out.
For the most part, we'll have
good
99%.
Well, thank you for joining us today for Coffee for Closers. I think we're out of time. No, we're good.
We're good. Bye,
So
guys.
thank you. This is delicious. I love it. All right. right, so what I wanted to jump in today is E for engage. Micah, talk to me about engage. What is engage?
Well, engage is engaging.
Okay.
I think the goal of engage is to build trust, and that's true across the board. There's few things that are true with all three of our cells.
Right.
Our three cells being
name our three sales.
Right. So getting the appointment, cell 1, cell 2, closing the account.
Employer
cell
presentation.
3, right. Employer presentation. Cell 3 is with the employee presentation.
Policy order. Right.
So policy order. It's kind of a fourth cell with an ongoing
service and renewal.
Right. But the three main ones being the three main ones. Now, the truth about the three main ones when it comes to engage is all of them are around building trust.
Right. Okay, so if we start out with a good business process, which is to begin with the end in mind, right?
Right.
The end of engage each time is trust.
Trust.
And there's another thing you like with it, which is the
contract up front.
Contract up front.
Right.
Okay.
I always have the contract up front.
Okay.
Most engages are always going to have, an opening, whether it's small talk. You want small talk to be intelligent. If it's with the employer, it's some research you did on his company. If it's with the employee, it's, hey, the business owner introduced me, whatever it is.
Right.
Most engage is also going to have a why statement, a personal brand statement.
Right.
I recommend always having, at the end of your engage, having a contract.
Right.
Hey, this is the layout of the conversation. If you see value, this. If you don't see value, that. With the employee, you're giving them permission to say no.
Right.
Hey,
the release statement.
right.
You can say thanks, or you can say thanks but no thanks, and that's fine.
Both are okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
But always engage.
Good. I agree. Yeah, 100%. Now, obviously, engage speaks a lot about interpersonal skills and your ability to connect with somebody. It doesn't mean, however, always chit-chat and aimless banter, which sometimes can come across as an unprofessional salesperson trying to kill time and gain commitment. What, in my experience, though, is also realizing who your audience is. We talk a lot about different personality types, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to do a coffee for closers just on that. We use the birds here at Aflac. Obviously, eagle, dove, parrot, and owl.
Owl's owl.
Man.
This is for our owls out there.
Yeah. So the idea being behind that, though, is knowing who your audience is as well, and knowing that if you've got to gain trust and credibility in order to move forward in the process, sometimes that just means cutting right to the chase. And the example I'll give, of course, is when you're talking to an eagle. Right? An eagle doesn't want you to ask how their day is going. They don't want to explain the pictures in their office. There probably aren't even that many pictures in their office, right? Because it's all about a business and efficiencies. And the best way to gain engagement with an eagle is to say, hey, I know you're busy. Let me cut right to the chase. Right? And that's music to the eagle's ears, or the fighter, depending on the different types of personality types you're using. So sometimes it's knowing that. So also the other thing you're dealing with sometimes is we're dealing with a parrot or somebody that's an entertainer, right? The person that appreciates interaction. They're going to get upset if you don't spend time engaging and get to knowing them. So my only point is engage isn't the same in each step. Certainly when you're prospecting, it's about credibility, it's about professionalism, it's about communication style. That's how you gain credibility. And that's how you gain trust, right? Credibility is the key to trust. And professionalism, certainly having a brand name behind you, already gets you halfway down the field, right? Coming in with a professional organization. What's the other half? Well, how you look, how you speak, right? Confidence, smile, engaging, right? A firm handshake. All of those things are important for credibility and confidence. And when you're scheduling that appointment in person, certainly got to come across that way. When you're on the phone, it's being direct and to the point. And then when you're in the employer presentation and the employee presentation, it's a little bit more sometimes about chit-chat and things like that.
Sure.
But so how do I move forward? How do I know when I've accomplished engage, Micah?
It's something you develop, I think, within yourself, but you develop this sense of knowing when you've established trust.
Okay.
So whenever you feel trust has been established, you have my permission to move on to discover.
So discover, phase 2 of EDGE, EDGE. Discover is where consultation comes in, pain points come in, threat of discontent, whatever it might be. So that's a whole nother coffee for closers.
It's almost like we should shoot one next week.
Yeah, maybe we should.
So
this, by the way, this coffee for closers brought to you by the letter E. And EDGE. And engage. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Micah.
Good stuff, man. Thanks,
Talk to you
Rich.
next week. And before then, I'm sure.
Probably.
Certainly next week.
I hope so.
Have a good week.
Have a good week, Rich.
Thank
Next
you.
week, guys.